Since 1999, Networks Theatre has been a home to English-speaking theatre in Orihuela, Spain. The theatre, founded by Nick Moore, has presented over 110 shows. From children's shows through to plays, musicals, theatre and education, and our proud history of 18 specially written pantomimes. Pull up a chair and join us as we meet another of our wonderful company in Networks Theatre, Conversations with. Hello and welcome again to Networks Conversations with. This week we have the very great pleasure of welcoming one of our most experienced actors. It's Yeray García. Let's bring him online now. Yeray, hello.
Hi.
How's everything with you?
Well, everything's well. I'm missing the theater, but...
Yeah, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Absolutely. So, for people who don't know you, give us a little potted history of Yeray García and his life in Orihuela.
Well, I was born in 1993.
Okay.
And I studied in network theater since when I was like 6 years old, I think.
Yeah, in the academy. And who was your teacher?
My teacher was James.
Okay.
He always insisted.
Was he your teacher for the whole time you were at the academy?
Yeah. The last 2 years I was with Lee.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, mainly James.
Right.
And James was always interested about me doing the theater.
Did you not also study with me for 1 year?
Oh yes, I'm waiting for you. Yeah, the last year. Yeah.
You did. You came back and you got your proficiency.
Exactly. Yeah, but you've been a teacher for me like all my whole time in the academy.
Yeah, I suppose so. In the of course, yeah, in the theatre as well. You mentioned James.
Yeah, and James always insisted talking about the theatre because I was a bit theatrical in as a person.
Okay.
He thought that I would enjoy doing the theater when you arrived, like I don't know what year.
If you were born in 93, in 99 when I arrived, you would have been about 6. So basically, when we would talk about the theatre courses, that would be about 2001, 2002, when you were 8 or 9. Did you jump at the chance?
No, he asked me to be in the first show he offered was The Bamboo Princess.
Okay. Bamboo Princess was 2001.
And I was like, I didn't want to go out of my comfort zone, I think. And I told him I didn't want to do it because I didn't see myself there because I was a fanboy of the theater. That's the...
Okay.
I loved the shows. I went there and watched you, and I was like, when I saw Robin Hood, I was like the greatest fan of David Verdejo and of Pedro Murcia.
Yeah, of course.
And I couldn't miss a panto. The panto for me was like the one of the big moments of the year. But I didn't see myself doing it. But James insisted, and like every year he was like, "Well, you know, Yeray, if you want to go and do theater, I have."
He kept offering you the exactly. Willy Wonka golden ticket, did he?
Exactly. And then I decided to do it like very late. Like my first show was Make a Wish.
Okay. 2006,
I think.
2006. Yeah, right. You got offered in 2001. You waited 5 years to participate.
I wasn't ready. And now you can't get rid of me. So that's...
So did you think in 2006 that your public were ready for you?
Yeah. And my mind maybe, and also Sara Ballesta and Laura Gomez in school, because they were in my class, they also like gave me the last push to do it.
Yeah. You're very good friends with Alberto Ortuño, aren't you?
Also, but I met him in the theater.
But I was going to say, were you friends with him before the theater?
No.
Or you met him at the theater?
I met him at the theater. In the second show that I did, that was my school musical.
Yeah.
I was the bully and he was the person.
Oh, and he was the victim.
Yeah, we became very good friends and he's one of my best friends now. So.
It's very true that so many friendships have been formed through the theatre.
Yeah.
Because of course, Networks is very special that all the students come from all these different schools and you'd never normally meet. But that's great. Okay, so tell me about
one thing.
Yes?
One good thing about the theater is that you learn English, but the other good thing is that you know people with maybe with the same interests that you have, that you won't meet in your school or in other
sure,
places.
Perhaps like when you go to the cinema together or okay. When you first did Make-A-Wish, how obviously you heard about it through James. When you walked through the door of the rehearsal on that first day, how were you feeling?
I remember that maybe I didn't choose the group right, because I felt like I was very tall and I was very old compared to the other students.
Because you would have been in second of ESO by that time.
Yeah, and I chose like the middle group, not the group for the older people.
Okay.
And I think you also were like, who's this tall boy who I've never seen in my entire life?
And who was that?
Me.
Oh, I see. You're asking about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
I mean, you were thinking.
What I was thinking. Yeah. No, we're kind of used to that, really, because of the way the theatre courses are structured. That the more experienced students get the bigger parts. But when an older student walks in, and I've never met them before, it's always a bit of a gamble. Do you give them the big part, or do you kind of give them a kind of secondary role? And I think I remember you standing there with a puppet.
Yeah, you made me read. Yeah, you made me read like a bit of English, and I was like bird number 2 or 3, and
there we are.
It was a good part to start for the first show.
It was a good part. You're right.
And I remember that when we started rehearsing and all that, obviously it took me a while to get used to that. And you told me the first day we were with the puppets, you told me, Yeray, one note. When the puppet speaks, do another voice. and it was like
this is true, a light bulb moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I don't have to be myself. I can do a lot of it. Was great. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember any line from that first show?
Probably I remember songs like homework, time to do a bit of homework, or something like that.
Ooh, no? Fishing.
Fishing. I'm missing.
Time to do a bit of wishing. Yeah.
Some cash or time for fishing.
Oh, very good. This is my time when I was robbing all the songs from Wicked and I'm rewriting the lyrics. Yeah. Okay.
And then we have my big moment with the bear was like, if I could talk to the animals.
Ah, yeah. What a great song. That's a superb song. When you were in all of our shows across the years, did you prefer the rehearsal process, or did you like the shows more? What was your favorite part?
I like both of the stages, I think, because in the rehearsal moments, we become a family during the rehearsal, and also you try things. We always have like things that get cut or things that we try, and it's always fun during the rehearsal. And we have a lot of moments that we laugh a lot. And then you do the show. It's a bit more stressful, but you receive the response of the audience, and that's also, I think, what we are looking for, to know what people think about what we're doing.
That's great. How many shows have you been in across the years?
I think it's been like 15. I think
15. Okay.
Yeah. Because I've been, that there have been 2 Yeray eras. So I've been in the small theater and in the new theater. That is,
of course,
isn't new anymore, but we call the new theater.
You're part of the original family of the old theater. We haven't been in that theater for 10 years now. Because we moved to the new one. I always remember because it's 2012 with Titanic when we started in the new theater. So if you cast your mind back to that older theater, I mean, how did you feel when you moved to the new theater?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was a big change. I have to say that maybe some people now see the old theater and think it's very small, but when we were performing there, we felt like it was the Madison Square Garden. I think so.
Yeah.
But now we have a reason to believe that. Now we have a lot of things to work with, and it's been a pleasure to do things in the new theater.
Yeah, no, it was so lovely. The moment Lee and Christina said, would you like to, you know, if we bought a new theater, a locale with classes, would you like a new theater? And like, whoa, that was a very special moment for all of us, just because we knew about the possibilities. At one point, a little bird told me that you were planning to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So I said to you, would you come and host 2 talent shows? Well, we still, obviously it was 1 talent show, and then we did another one, and it was called Stand Up for Talent. Yeah. How was that experience for you doing your comedy in English?
Well, it was Spanish, but we had like sketches in English, I think, or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was, yeah. I discovered that I like comedy. Well, I usually do jokes and all that in my day-to-day, but I discovered thanks to network theater, because probably the first part that I was happy with was a comedy part. It was a show that probably not many people remember, because it was only, we only did it once. It was Three Princesses in Waiting.
Okay, yeah.
And there I was, you gave me a small part that was called Hans, that was like a German skin.
Wasn't his name Hans Everywhere?
Yeah, like something like that.
I think that was his name, yeah.
Something like that. And it was like a very small part, but it was like a German boyfriend of one of the princesses. And you really took me to the place of making like a full comedy part.
Yeah.
Also with the thing of the voice, because it was also
a little like German accent or something. Yeah.
And you like took me to that place. And
what was the song you had? In some sports,
some sports you're jumping, and some sports you're pumping. Yeah.
But skiers will always go down.
In some sports you're jumping, and some sports you're pumping, but skiers will always go down. In some sports they go up, and others they throw up, as happens all skiers go down. All that you need is an alpine brake. First leg, left and right leg, all it will take. You know it now, is a place to be. It's a sport you're pumping, but skiers will always go down. In some sports they go up, and others they throw up, as happens all skiers go down. We are the boys for your après-ski. Buy us a drink and we'll go, we. Black, yellow, blue, we have golden runs. Sounds good, it's not that bad. In some sports you're jumping and some sports you're bumping, but skiers will always go down.
Yeah, okay. A little bit of a double entendre there, as they say.
And I saw that I was very comfortable doing comedy. And then I started like writing jokes and doing jokes, like things in the high school and things like that. And then Stand Up for Talent was like a good excuse to write like a whole comedy script.
Yeah. And you've been performing your comedy, haven't you?
Yeah?
You've been performing comedy. You do stand up in Elche, Alicante.
Yeah, I used the Stand Up for Talent as a kind of to try my material. Test my material, and then I went to a comedy contest in Alicante. I was among the best ones, the ones that people liked, and then I've been doing comedy like around the area.
It's Bring Your Dog to Work Day. I've got a dog trying to jump up here, so I have to. This is Ollie for anybody who's watching.
Hi, Ollie.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been in a wide variety of shows across the years. You've been in the children's shows. You've been in Remembrance. What are your memories? What are your memories of Remembrance?
Remembrance is quite a special show, I think, because
yeah, can you tell us what can you explain to us what exactly the idea was?
A show based on remembering the fallen during the First War and the Second War, no? the Second World War, and we read poems written by some soldiers that wrote poetry, and also we project photos and remember them. And it's a show that isn't like any other show in networks, I think. And we did the first one. I was in the first, and we were very doubtful about what we were doing. And you were like, are you going to be able to remember all these poems?
I was worried that you'd be able. Alexa off. I was worried that you would be able to remember a 5-verse First World War poem. But I was, and here comes everyone's favorite expression, I was gobsmacked at your ability to remember, not only remember the poems, but your sensitivity in the delivery of the poems. And then what that Remembrance was the First World War. And do you remember the title of the Second World War?
Distant Thunder.
Distant Thunder, yeah. That was much more difficult to write because there isn't actually such a wealth of material available. But you also delivered a superb job there.
I think it was a great achievement, which is a word that I've learned in network theater. But I think it was a great achievement, and I think we created the right climate.
Yes.
Because my dad is my dad's favorite show, and my dad doesn't speak English.
Okay, well, there were lots of pictures to look at, weren't there?
Yeah, but I think that we created like the right climate for everyone to know what we were doing.
Yeah, we got the atmosphere right, didn't we?
Exactly.
Okay, tell me about your experience with pantomime and how it's what's it brought to your life?
As I've told before, Panto was like my favorite moment of the year before being a part of the Panto.
Okay, yeah.
And as I said, I was a fanboy of when I saw you, when I saw David Verdejo's Buttons, when I saw Joaquin Montesinos doing a lot of things. Dennis, obviously, it was like my favorite time of the year, one of my favorite moments of the year. And when I got to be in one, it was amazing. I think the first one I did was a Christmas Panto, Carol.
Christmas Carol, yeah.
Maybe I think so. That I was like one of the surprise dames. We were like 3 students were dressed.
Yeah, that's right. The great thing about Panto is you can always bend the rules. And I had the idea of doing the song Scroogey Love, which is Baby Love by the Supremes. And I thought, let's bring on 3 students dressed in dresses. I mean, that's the freedom we have at Networks. And I think, who were the 3 of you that dressed up?
Juan Carlos Melgarejo, Roberto Gomez, and...
Yeah, I think, and all of you, all big strapping heterosexuals, all of you embraced it entirely, and we couldn't keep you out of drag, could we?
Exactly, it was fun, and the reaction was very strong, and it was like, as I said before, another step in my
development, your career,
in my path of loving comedy and doing what could be done, and I'm creating new things that aren't myself, as we started with the puppet. And then next year, I think I did Aladdin. I was the genie. Alberto Ortuño was the Aladdin, and we became very, very good friends. And also I remember in one rehearsal, because we decided that the genie would change his appearance in every time he got out of the lamp.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I was like dressed like a cowboy, dressed like a sailor. It changed, but we didn't tell Aladdin. We didn't tell Alberto. And then I showed up. in the
So hang on, you have to remind me, when we got to like the dress rehearsal, we'd had the idea that every time you enter, you'd change your costume.
Yeah.
But did I tell you, but we didn't tell Aladdin?
We didn't tell Alberto. Yeah, we didn't tell Alberto. So the first time I changed costume, he just burst out laughing and we had to stop a bit. And you were on stage. Because I was dressed like a cowboy. I was like Woody from Toy Story. It was like, yeah, so great moments. And then now I've been the king in Snow White.
Yeah.
And for me, it's been like full circle because it was when I was a kid, I was enjoying the panto and I was rooting for the comedy parts. And now I was the king and it was fantastic also. It was working. Now, the thing about me coming back to the theater after university is that for me, the best thing has been that I've been able to work with people like Joe and Inés and a lot of the new generation is great. Daniel Simon, Miguel Ferrandez, Juanto Ferrandez.
Yeah.
A lot of people that it's been a pleasure to work with them. And also to play the parts that I've always admired when I was younger.
That's great. Whenever I say pantomime to a Spanish person, they always imagine somebody stuck in a glass box.
Yeah.
How would you explain, in English, of course, how would you explain to somebody who is Spanish, who's never heard of pantomime, what is it?
Panto is like an English tradition, I suppose, which there are shows that always play during Christmas, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And the audience is a very important part in these shows, which usually start or they take a story that is well known by the audience, like a fairy tale or I don't know, the Sleeping Beauty, the Beauty and the Beast, things that the audience knows, and then they add like funny characters that have a lot of things in common, usually from one panto to another. You have the hero and you have the princess, but you have a lot of funny characters around them that joke with the audience, joke among them, and they sing, and there's usually a dame that is a man dressed as a woman.
Yeah. We've got a couple of years where you haven't been in the pantomime. You often sit at the back near the camera, and I can hear you laughing at some of the jokes that other people don't get. But you always have a ball, as we say, with the pantomime.
That's a bad thing about doing comedy, that I usually laugh. I don't usually laugh at the typical jokes, but if I find one that is new for me, I'm like,
yeah. Will we see you treading the boards at Networks Theatre again soon?
I don't know, but I'm always there, like as a part of the audience or behind the scenes, talking with you or commenting things that I like. So I'll probably be around.
Yeah, because you are in Orihuela now. One thing we forgot to mention at the beginning is your current employment.
Yes, I'm an audiovisual translator right now, film and series translator. Yeah.
So, like when there's a TV documentary, you're the guy that translates it, or do you put the subtitles on? How does it work?
I translate the script that the dubbing actors perform.
Okay, so you've got the American version, you put it into Spanish, you send it, and the actors then say your words.
I have to think a lot about my translation is not to be read, it's to be performed. So I have to think about it. And now I'm starting with series and films for Netflix, for HBO. So it's going well.
So this is the kind of thing that exponentially could just keep you busy for the rest of your life.
Let's hope so. I don't know. I think it is more probable that it's more likely that it gets me money the rest of my life more than comedy. But
Yeray, we thank you so much for talking to us today about your time at Networks Theatre. It's always been a pleasure to have you as part of the cast in each show, and I'm sure our paths will cross again, especially when I need an adult with, that's because you're now playing the daddy parts, aren't you? Yeah. We're going to finish with 2 minutes of questions, okay? Answer as quickly as you want. It's 2 2 minutes of crazy questions, okay? Let me put my timer on, because otherwise I'll get complaints from
I'm not ready.
Producer. Here we go. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
And why do you like it?
I don't know. I don't have a reason.
What food would you take on a trip to the moon?
Probably something made by my mother, I suppose.
Dogs cakes. Dogs or cats?
I don't really. I have to choose.
You can say neither.
Neither.
Okay. Would you like a small part in a pantomime or a big part in a play?
A small part in a pantomime, I always think that being part of the ensemble is better than only thinking about yourself.
Okay. Would you prefer to speak a speech, sing a song, or dance a dance?
A speech.
Speak a speech, really? Do you think you could ride a cow?
No, probably not. I'm being honest.
No, sure, yeah. What part would you give Donald Trump in a pantomime?
Abanasa in Aladdin, so the bad guy probably.
So you'd cast him as the baddie, would you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
No at all. I'm
Nope.
just that flat. Do not believe.
Yeah, only in Casper, the friendly ghost.
Okay, yeah, true. On that note, what book would you recommend?
For like anyone.
Anybody, any book you'd recommend?
Yeah, in Spanish, probably La Sombra del Viento by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And in English, anything written by Terry Pratchett. In English.
Okay, yeah, fantasy stuff. Yeah. Which famous person from history would you like to meet? Dead or alive?
Charles Chaplin.
Charles Chaplin. Why would that be?
I don't know, because he's quiet, isn't he? So I could like talk a lot.
So you could do all the talking.
Yeah.
All right, Yeray, that's the end of our 2 minutes. Thank you very much for being on the program today. You've been brilliant. Don't forget, you can follow Networks Theatre by going on our website at networkstheatre.com, and you can sign up for our email mailing list. Yeray, thank you so much for participating, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.